Hello everyone, si Teacher Jenny ulit at narito naman ako para i-discuss sa inyo ang topic para sa Week 6 ng Mathematics 7. At ito ay tungkol sa square root. So bago tayo mag-proceed sa square root, gawin muna natin yung activity sa module nyo which you need to count the total number of squares of the chessboard and then i-prove nyo that it has a total of 204 squares. So kung mapapansin nyo, meron bang 204 squares dyan? So tingnan natin. Una, let's define square muna. Ano nga bang square? Di ba yan ang shape na merong 4 sides or equal na 4 sides. So, dapat lahat ng sides ay equal. So, let's start with the obvious. So, start muna tayo. Hanapin natin yung size muna, yung column and row. So, mamaya maintindihan nyo yan. Tapos, bilangan natin yung number of square. So, let's start with 1 by 1. Ibig sabihin ng 1 by 1, yung obvious dito. Diba? Parang itong white na to ay isang square. Tama? And then the green part. So let's start with the column. So I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So meron akong 8 sa aking column. How about for my row? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ayan, kamali-mali na yung drawing. So, we have 8 din sa ating column. So, bakit natin ginagawa to? So, instead na bilangin natin yung size na 1 by 1, lahat yan ay bilangin natin, we can just count the number of squares sa column and then sa row para malaman natin kung ilan lahat. So, 8 times 8, that will give us 64. So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong 64 squares sa size na 1 by 1. How about sa 2 by 2? Let's see. So, I have here, unahin natin yung column. So, I have 2 here, 2. So, 2 by 2, right? So, I have 1. So, this will have another square. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So, meron akong 7 sa column. Ibig sabihin, meron din akong 7 dito. So, meaning to say, 7 times 7, makakabuo ako ng 49 squares na size ay 2 by 2. Tama? How about sa 3 by 3 naman natin? Square naman ang size ay 3 by 3. So, ilan meron yan? So, unahin ulit natin yung column. So, meron tayong, ayan, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So, this is a square. So, I have 1. So, this will have, okay, I have here 2. I have here another one, 3. And then 4. And then 5. 6. Oh, I just have 6. Hindi na pwede to, di ba? Wala na doon. So, I just have 6 for my columns. Ibig sabihin, sa aking row ay meron din akong 6. Tama? Pag binilang natin pag ganito. So, I have 6 times 6, I have 36 squares na ang size ay 3 by 3. So, kung mapapansin nyo, parang pattern siya, di ba? So, sa 4 by 4 kaya. So, magkakaroon tayo dyan ng 5 times 5. So, meron tayong 25 squares. And then, 5 by 5 natin, meron niyang 4. 4, so 4 times 4, 4 sa ating column, 4 sa ating row. So, we have 16 squares. And pag ang size naman ay 6 by 6, magkakaroon tayo dyan ng 3 sa column, 3 sa row. And total, we have 9 squares. 7 by 7, meron niyang 2 sa column, 2 sa row. So, we have 4 squares in total. And then, 8 by 8, we have 1. Isa lang and isa. So, 1 times 1 is 1 square. So, ibig sabihin, kapag inad natin yung 64, 49, 36, 25, 16, 9, 4, 1, meron tayong 204 squares sa chessboard na ito. So, based sa ating activity na to, kung mapapansin nyo, diba, may kinalaman to sa square root. Bakit? Etong square root of 64 is 8. Kung mapapansin nyo, tinimes natin siya sa sarili niya, 8 times 8, meron tayong sagot na 64. And the square root of 64 is 8. Tama? Okay, mas maiintindihan nyo yan mamaya. So let's have this. Let's have first a recall ng rational number and irrational number na nasa module nyo din. So pag sinabi nating rational number, we can express that in A over B. Ibig sabihin, fraction. Tama? We have numerator and denominator. Example, 2 over 4. Now, rational number din kapag ito ay decimal. Hindi porket hindi siya naka-fraction ay hindi na siya rational number. No, we can consider some decimal numbers na rational number kapag ang kondisyon ay ganito. First is pag-terminating. Ibig sabihin yan, may katapusan or may hangganan. So, tumigil siya, 0.125. 0.314. Another is, pwede namang hindi siya tumitigil, but it should repeat. Ibig sabihin, non-terminating but still repeating. So, hindi siya tumitigil pero nauulit-ulit siya. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Next is, I have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hindi siya tumitigil pero umuulit siya. It's still irrational number. On the other hand, I have your irrational. So, baliktad siya ng rational. Hindi natin siya ma-express sa fraction form. So, ibig sabihin, we can't express this in A over B. Now, next is, yung decimal na hindi natin mako-consider na rational, meaning to say irrational, those are the decimal numbers na non-terminating and non-repeating. Hindi siya tumitigil, tapos hindi din siya umuulit. So, that's irrational. So, we can use that later for our square root. So, we have your square root of a number is a number when multiplied to itself will give you the original number. So, ang square root daw ng isang number ay ang number na pinag-multiply mo sa sarili niya, ang makukuha ay yung original number. Let's have an example. Get the square root of 9, or sa symbol, meron tayong square root of 9. Yung mga bata, alam natin na kapag tinanong tayo ng square root, alam lang natin ang sagot ay positive 3. Correct? Without knowing na square root of 9, ang sagot din ay, isang sagot ay negative 3. Meaning to say, square root of 9 is equal to, ang sagot ay pwedeng positive 3 at pwedeng negative 3. Bakit? Positive 3 times positive 3, that's 9. Diba? Sabi natin, ang square root ng isang number ay pag pinag-multiply mo yung number, ang sagot is the number itself. So look, 3 times 3, 9. So meaning to say, square root of 9 is positive 3. Now, yung negative 3 din. Bakit? Let's multiply negative 3 by itself. So, negative 3 times negative 3, ang sagot ay 9 din. Positive 9. Kasi negative number multiply by negative number, the answer is positive integer or number. So, ibig sabihin, negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. Square root of 9 is positive 3 and negative 3. Now, itong positive 3 ay tinatawag natin yung principal square root. Ibig sabihin, di ba, sa isa square root, meron tayong dalawang sagot, which is the positive 3 and negative 3. Yung positive, yun yung i-consider natin na principal square root. Next, itong principal square root na to, is maka-classify natin siya as rational and irrational. So, kagaya nung nasa learning task number 1 nyo, ganito yun. So, masasabi natin rational ang principal square root kapag the radicand is a perfect square. At irrational naman kapag hindi perfect square. So, let's have an example. Ano bang perfect square ang sinasabi natin dito? Ang radicand na tinutukoy natin ay yung number sa loob ng radical sign. So, kagaya nito, I have here 4 as the radicand. 4 is a perfect square. Tama? Kasi 2 times 2 is 4. So, meaning to say, that's rational. Another rational example, square root of 9. Kasi ang 9 is a perfect square. 3 times 3 is 9. Correct? Then, square root of 16. Because the radicand 16 is a perfect square. Because 4 times 4 is 16. Kabaligtaran naman niya yung irrational. So, irrational, the radicand is not a perfect square. Kagaya ng square root of 2. Ang 2 ay hindi perfect square. Tama? Ang 6 ay hindi perfect square. Ang 5 ay hindi perfect square. Ano ibig sabihin ng hindi perfect square? Ibig sabihin, wala tayong exact na whole number na pag pinag-multiply mo sa sarili, ang sagot ay 2, 5, and 6. Let's have an example. Find the principal root of square root of 49. Pag sinabi ulit natin principal root, ano yon? Yung positive na sagot sa square root. Tama? And positive 49, meron yung dalawang sagot. Positive 7 and negative 7. So, alin dyan ang principal root? yung positive 7. Now, since we have positive 7 is principal root, ano ba to? Rational, irrational? This is rational. Because 49, the radicand 49, is a perfect square. Kasi 7 times 7 is 49. So, this is rational. Let's have illustrative example number 2. Determine whether the principal root of square root of 17 is rational or irrational. So, pansinin nyo, yung 17 ba ay perfect square? No. So, since 17 is not a perfect square, then the principal root is irrational. Ibig sabihin, irrational siya kasi ang 17 is not a perfect square. Ganun lang yun. Ganun lang natin masasabi na ang isang square root or yung principal root is rational and irrational. Let's have this one. Square root of 17. This is irrational. Kasi nga, ang 17 is not a perfect square. Kagaya ng activity nyo ha, ganito yun. Square root of 25. This one is rational. Bakit? Ang 25 is perfect square, tama? Kasi ang principal root niya ay positive 5. Positive 5 times positive 5, that's 25. Next is square root of 9. This one is rational. And the principal root is positive 3. Madali, di ba? Next, what if the principal root is irrational? Kapag rational, nabibigyan natin ng sagot eh. Square root of 9, that's 3. The principal root is positive 3. Tama? What if irrational naman? Paano naman natin makukuha yan? So, meron tayong dalawang paraan. So, the first one is approximation or approximate and estimation. Or yung estimate. So, pag sinabi nating approximation, maa-approximate daw natin ang square root by looking for two consecutive integers. Ano ba pag sinabi natin consecutive? Ibig sabihin yan, magkasunod. So, makukuha natin ang approximate ng irrational root or principal root kapag by means of getting the two consecutive integers. Okay? Or yung dalawang magkasunod na integers. And when we do estimation naman, the decimal form of an irrational number is always an estimate of its value. Ibig sabihin, kukunin natin yung estimated na decimal number for that square root or that radicand. So, let's have an example para mas maintindihan nyo to. Let's have for the approximation muna. Sabi, when we do approximation, kumukuha tayo ng dalawang consecutive integer. So, between which two consecutive integers, the square root of 6 lies. So, meron tayong square root of 6 dito. Para makuha natin yung two consecutive integer na yon, kung saan siya nakalagay sa gitna, tingnan muna natin yung katabi niyang mga square root. So, mag-start tayo sa kaliwa. Ang square root of 5 ba ay rational? No. So, hindi yan pwedeng katabi niyan. So, ang hahanapin natin ay yung rational. Square root of 4 naman? Yes. Okay? So, that is rational. So, sa kabila naman, dito sa kanan, tingnan naman natin yung pwede niyang katabi na rational rational number. So, let's have this one. Square root of 7. Hindi, di ba? That is irrational. Square root of 8. This is irrational. Square root of 9. That's rational. So, ibig sabihin, ang pinakamalapit kay square root of 6 na rational number is square root of 4 at square root of 9. So, ibig sabihin, the square root of 6 ay mas malaki kay square root of 4 at mas maliit naman kay square root of 9. So, saan kaya siyang dalawang integer makikita? Sa gitna ng, syempre, ang square root of 4 ay 2 at ang square root of 9 ay 3. So, ibig sabihin, si square root of 6 ay nasa pagitan ni 2 at 3. Tama? So, thus, square root of 6 is a decimal number between 2 and 3. Again, two consecutive integers kung saan si 6, so square root of 6 ay nandoon, is 2 and 3. So that is for approximation or approximate. Next is let's have for estimation naman. Let's estimate the square root of 10 to the nearest 100. Diba last time dun sa isa kong video, sabi ko, after the decimal point, we have the place value. So yung first is the tenths at yung second is the hundredths. So ibig sabihin, kailangan natin ng two decimal places. Okay? Dalawang number after the decimal point. So let's estimate square root of 10. So by estimation, di ba sabi natin, we're getting the decimal number or yung value ng square root sa decimal. So we have square root of 10. Tingnan muna natin ano ba ang katabi niyang rational number sa kaliwa at sa kanan. Unahin natin sa kaliwa. Sa kaliwa, ang pinakamalapit sa kanya ay square root of 9. Tama? Square root of 9 is rational. Kasi perfect square yung 9. Next, sa kanan naman, meron tayong pinakamalapit na yung square root of 16. Tama? And therefore, na ang square root of 10 ay mas malaki kay 3 dapat, pero mas maliit siya dapat kay 4. So, nasa gitna siya ni 3 and 4. Diba? Approximate tawag dyan. But we're not yet done. We need to do the estimation. Kailangan natin kunin yung decimal. So, ibig sabihin, si square root of 10 ay decimal number sa pagitan ni 3 at 4. So, start tayo sa 3.1. So, sabi ko nga, di ba, kailangan natin dalawang number after decimal point kasi yan yung hundreds. Mag-start muna tayo dun sa isa muna. So, let's have 3.1 first. Siyempre, mag-start tayo sa 1. So, 3.1 times 3.1, that's 9.61. So, medyo malayo pa sa 10, tama? Ito yung target natin, yung 10. 3.2 times 3.2, that's 10.24. At kung mapapansin nyo, lagpas na siya. So, ibig sabihin, itong square root of 10 must lie between 3.1 and 3.2 lang. Kasi 9.61 and then 10.24 na. So, lagpas na. So, ibig sabihin, nasa gitna ni 3.1 at 3.2 ang square root of 10. So, tingnan natin. Let's continue the estimation to the 100th place. Kasi nga, kailangan ko ay dalawang places. So, I have here the tenths na. So, we therefore conclude na nasa 3.1, 3.2 na siya between the two. So, ibig sabihin, di siya lalagpas sa 3.2. Tama? Kailangan nating itry naman yung sa mga pangalawa or dun sa hundreds. So, since we have 3.1, start tayo ng 3.1. Ayan. Let's add 1 muna naman sa hundreds natin. 1, yan yung nadagdag natin. So, 3.11 na siya ngayon. 3.11 times 3.11. So, ang sagot dyan ay 9.6721. Medyo malayo pa, right? 3.12 times 3.12, that's 9.7344. Medyo malayo pa din. Next is 3.13 times 3.13, that's 9.7969. Medyo malayo pa. 3.14 times 3.14, 9.8596. Yan, medyo malapit na. 3.15 times 3.15, meron tayong 9.9225. 16 times 16, ayan, 9.9856. And yung 3.17 times 3.17, meron tayong 10.0429. So, tingnan nyo, as we can see, dito sa 9.9856, medyo malapit na siya sa 10, right? And sa 3.70 naman, lagpas na siya sa 10. So, ibig sabihin, ano yung pinakamalapit sa dalawa? Ano kaya magiging sagot? So, sa 3.16, as we can see, 9.98, kailangan na lang natin ng 0.02, tama? Para maging 10 siya. Ito naman, sobra siya ng 0.04 para maging 10 siya. So, ibig sabihin, mas malapit si 3.16. Therefore, by estimation, ang square root of 10 is equal to 3.16. Let's have another example for estimation. So we have here, estimate square root of 45 to the nearest 100. So same thing, ang gawin naman natin or kunin natin yung square root of 45 by estimation. So we have square root of 45, tingnan natin yung pinakamalapit sa kaliwa niya na rational number or yung may square root. So we have that is square root of 36. Tama? At sa kanan naman niya, ang pinakamalapit na ay yung square root of 49. Ibig sabihin, si square root of 45 ay mas malaki kay 6 at mas maliit dapat kay 7. So, meaning to say, nasa gitna siya ni 6 and 7. Now, we have here, bakit sa 6.5 na tayo nag-start? Kung mapapansin nyo, itong square root of 45 ay masyado nang malapit kay 49 at masyado namang malayo kay 36. Tama? So, parang bago ka makarating kay 36, medyo malapit na. Pero itong 45, saglit na lang para makarating ka kay 49. Correct? Now, mag-start tayo sa medyo gitna na, 6.5. So, 6.5 times 6.5 is equal to 42.25. Next is 6.6 times 6.6, meron tayong 43.56. And 6.7 times 6.7 is 44.89. And medyo malapit na. 6.8 times 6.8 ay 46.24. Ayan, lagpas na. So, ibig sabihin, Nasa gitna siya ni 6.6 and 6.8. Thus, square root of 45 must lie between 6.7 and 6.8. So, i-continue naman natin siya by estimation to the 100th place. So, sabi natin kasi after decimal, kailangan 'di ba dalawa kasi tenths, hundredths. So, dapat dalawang number after decimal point. So, we have here na 6.7. So, ibig sabihin sa 6.7 tayo mag-start. 6.7, add naman natin ng 1 muna. So, 6.71 times 6.71, the answer is 45.0241. Ayan, lagpas na. Pero tingnan natin yung 6.72 times 6.72, that's 45.1584. Sobrang lagpas na. So, ibig sabihin, dito na tayo sa 6.71. Yan na yung pinaka-malapit. Okay? So, we have, therefore, the estimation square root of 45 is equal to 6.71. Now, let's have this one, the last one, is to plot the following irrational numbers on the number line. So, I have here square root of 3, square root of 23, and square root of 48. So, dapat daw natin siyang i-plot sa number line. So, these are the following irrational number. Square root of 3, square root of 23, and square root of 48. So, meron tayong madaling paraan wherein we need to look muna yung mga square root ng mga number na to. So, we have here, ano bang irrational number ang pwede dito sa, rational number para makuha ay 1. So, we have square root of 1. Because square root of 1 ay 1. So, ibig sabihin, ang value nito ay pwedeng square root of 1. Dito naman, ito ay square root of 4. Tama? Because square root of 4 is equal to 2. Square root of 9 is equal to 3. Then square root of 16 is equal to 4. Square root of 5, 25. Square root of 6 is 36. Square root of 49, 7. 64, 81, and then 100. Okay? So, the easiest way para ma-plot natin yung mga irrational number na to, this is just estimation, okay? Parang ano lang natin, approximate lang natin dito sa ating number line. So, we have, saan ba malapit si square root of 3? So, di ba dito square root of 1. So, ibig sabihin, nakasunod niya, pwedeng square root of 2 dito, dito ay square root of 3. So, medyo malapit siya kay square root of 4. So, we have square root of 3 on this number line. Okay? So, how about square root of 23? Saan siya pinakamalapit? So, kay square root of 25. Sa medyo kaliwa ni square root of 25, which is there. Okay? Next naman na yung square root of 48. Saan ba siya malapit? So, we have here square root of 49. Pinakamalapit na siya dito. So, medyo sa gantong part kasi square root of 36 to. So, we have there square root of 48 bago mag-square root of 49. Tama? Pero we can do also this by means of estimation muna natin or estimate muna natin yung ating irrational number gaya ng tinuro ko sa inyo. Ang estimation natin by square root of 3, meron tayong 1.73. Square root of 23 is 4.80. And then square root of 48 is 6.93. So, ibig sabihin, we can use those decimal number para mas madali nating i-plot. So, we have 1.73. So, dun part yon, medyo ganun part. 4.80 sa part na to. And then 6.93 ay sa medyo part na to na. So, pwede din yun. By means of estimation, you can plot the irrational numbers or pwede din naman sa approximation, yung in between two consecutive integers. So, yun lang for our week number 6. So, thank you very much. God bless you all.